In the next 30 years, the total length of roads could approach 25 million kilometers worldwide, enough to encircle the planet more than 600 times. For humans, roads are essential for facilitating access to natural resources, connecting human communities, moving goods to markets, and so on. For wildlife, however, roads often have the opposite effect. As the main agent of habitat fragmentation, roads can form barriers to movement, cause changes in community structure, and increase roadkills, ultimately isolating and reducing the viability of populations. Wildlife crossings are often built under or over roads to mitigate the impacts of the resulting fragmentation of habitats. But do they really work? There is a lack of consensus on their efficacy, which varies depending on the species present, community structure, location, surrounding habitat and topography, road and crossing structure. There is also a dearth of knowledge of how wildlife crossings and roads affect community structure, genetic diversity, and roadkills, especially in developing countries such as Malaysia, where road network expansion is most rapid. Using small mammals as model organisms, I found that habitats surrounding wildlife crossings actually had the lowest diversity amongst the three habitats I studied and compared: wildlife crossings, roadside, and forest. Roadside habitats had the highest diversity of small mammals, but this diversity, consisting mostly of common edge species, was very different from the diversity found in forest habitats, which had many arboreal species. These differences were mainly due to vegetation structure, as large trees characterize forest habitats, while roadside and wildlife crossing habitats have a dense understory with lots of shrubs and logs. In terms of roadkills, most casualties were found close to vegetation cover and water bodies, on village roads more so than on forest roads. Roadside and wildlife crossing populations had similar genetic diversities, but were genetically further apart than in forest populations, suggesting isolation and a decrease in gene flow. So in conclusion, if you build a road, you can still have wildlife, maybe even lots of a particular type of wildlife, but it's going to be very different from what was originally there before the road was built because of the drastic change in habitat structure. Wildlife crossings may help a bit in retaining the original biodiversity, but not much. As a top species on this planet, we humans will have to decide whether we are prepared to accept these changes and deal with the consequences, or whether we would like to change the way we develop our infrastructure to keep the natural treasures we already have.